Hi guys, so today since we've covered VBA basics and how to activate the developer ribbon and activate the macros, and we've covered objects and referencing, we've covered the VBA environment and navigation. Before we start using this record macro function, we should know the concept of absolute and relative reference. So what is absolute and relative reference? So let's say we have this table here, in which person B, s- uh, A, B, C, and D have these corresponding number of sales, right? And on the first day, so array 1 is day 1, they had one sale. That's it. They just had one sale, right? And on Tuesday, they had variable sales. And we wanted to know how much they are doing um, for the week. Let's say it's Wednesday, right? So we just simply add up their total sales, and what we have is, you these values, just adds. And you notice once I drag this down, that the formula actually changes. Okay, and that's a relative reference. Once you drag it down, the value changes, right? And to differentiate this from absolute reference, we just simply add one value and press F4, right? And you would see those dollar signs. Those dollar signs just mean that you do not change these values. Okay, you can continually press F4 to cycle through the options. First is actually it will lock both the column and the row, and the next is will lock only the row but not the column, and then the last is it will lock the column but not the row. All right, so in this example we can only highlight um, referencing changing for the row, right? So if I add these two and just put them both on absolute reference, you can see from the formula bar up here top is that just the dollar sign, the dollar signs are just changed. Okay, so if I drag this down, what would happen would be I would just have just 3 for all of them. That's simply because, why is that? Simply because it didn't change. If you look at this value and press F2, the formula shows array 1 and array 2 from person A being added. Now if you press F2 on the second row on the table, it will select array 1 and array 2 for person B. Now if you look at the absolute reference, when I go to column B, its absolute reference formula, the formulas do not change. If you look just at that formula bar, and I keep on clicking up and down, the formula does not change, which means it's locked. It's absolutely referenced to that cell. So to highlight this again, what I have here is another table, and I'd like it to count what's here. So if you can look at this value, right? I have the COUNTIF function, and I'm showing two things, right? So from this range, so I'm using the COUNTIF from this range, this entire table, I want to count how many are, my criteria is H14. And H14 is this, right? So let's say, and we're counting the number of sixes, if we want to count the number of ones, right, it will show 5, and these are, the 5 ones. If I go 2, it will count, and based on that value, how many of this is, on this what I want to count, it will change depending on what I put there. Right? So a pretty neat function, this you know this absolute reference and relative reference, and I see myself using it a lot when I'm using tables like these, and when I'm trying to count something, right? So that's the concept of absolute and relative reference. If you have additional questions, just post a comment below, and I'll try to answer it with a different video or whatnot. All right, so let's go on to the next topic, and the next topic is me demonstrating absolute reference macro and relative reference macro, which is just here when you are using this function. Alright?